Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring.
I admire you when my living has a limit of desire to keep it going. I'm just knowing that my time with you makes a difference. I'm feeling when I vibe with you. They can't divide us two. We got a bond like 007, right? Even on Devil's Night, you show me what the heavens like. Go ahead and spread your light, though I can barely see. I know you're there with me, my personal therapy. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary, yeah. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. You inspire me, look at you crazy when you tell me you admire me. Not an example for anybody to try to be. We'll call you bluff, but I know you wouldn't lie to me. Just a surprise to me, we got a bond tight, no one can come between. I have respect for you, you have your love for me, and that's enough for me. All I need to get by, let me be the method to your Mary J. Blige. So many times I felt defeated, you always know the right thing to say for when I need it. I wanna do the same thing for you to keep it even. You can call me anytime, you don't ever need a reason. I'm right here with you, never could forget you. All the things that we've been through, everything we went through, hey, none of it was simple, but I'm right here with you. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary, yeah. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
That off-air discussion. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 8 a.m. on the nose. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we have... Can you feel it?
Definitely feel it.
Oh God, you lovely people.
I think maybe bigger speakers.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll have to speak a little tad bit louder. Yes.
Fair enough. I
Yeah.
can get louder.
Now we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have that thing that we like to tell you. Yeah, good. Damn, fast food. Okay, my bad. Speak it to me. All right, here we go. Good morning, Aurora. Hot breaking news right off the news desk, and the news desk is my desk. Oh yes, Aurora Mayor Richard Irvin set to join the Republican race for governor. That's our breaking news story today. Mayor Irvin will be joining the Republican primary contest for governor, completing a slate aimed at gaining financial backing from billionaire Ken Griffin to challenge Democrats who hold all statewide offices. Mayor Irvin, as we know here in our fine city, is the first African-American mayor of Illinois. We are the second largest city, and he would be the fifth announced candidate for the GOP nomination in the June 28th primary, with the winner taking on first-term Governor J.B. Pritzker in the November general election. Now here, this is a great article in the Tribune, and after the show, we will post this link. The announcement is slated for today to coincide with Martin Luther King Day, which it is. So we look forward to that announcement. Haven't seen anything that says like the mayor will be speaking at 11 or anything like that. So we'll see. Listen to this, because this is the beauty of writing. But unlike the four previous announced contenders, Irvin's candidacy is expected to attract the support of Griffin, the state's wealthiest person and the CEO and founder of Citadel Financial Group. Griffin, an ardent foe of Pritzker, had previously promised to go, quote, all in on an effort to defeat the Democratic governor. Pritzker on Friday night reported putting $90 million into his own campaign, state campaign finance documents showed, and the slate has taken shape in recent days with announcements by former U.S. Attorney John Milhiser for Secretary of State, State Rep Tom Dimmer of Dixon for State Treasurer, Attorney Steve Kim for Attorney General, and McHenry County Auditor Shannon Teresi for Comptroller. Supporters say Irvin, 51, could give Republicans a chance to lure black voters away from Democrats in the general election if he wins the Republican nomination. I think I would have omitted that part, but I don't work for the Tribune. Sources said Griffin had not been satisfied with the prospects of the four previously announced contenders for the GOP governor nomination, businessman Gary Rabin of Bull Valley and Jesse Sullivan of Petersburg. State Senator Darren Bailey of Xenia and former State Senator Paul Schimpf of Waterloo. Irvin has voted in Democratic primaries in the recent past, and that says that he may be at odds with voters backing a harder line. The time is now 8:03. So you guys can let us know what you think about that in the chat. How do you guys feel about that? Do you want to see our great mayor go on to greater things? You want him to stay here with us? But enough of that. We have a guest today. Our guest is an Auroran.
Very much so.
He's a man with a very nice shirt on. Got a very rustic kind of feel today.
I feel that most days, yeah.
He is also a guitarist.
Sometimes
guitarist. And that trail of superlatives leads to one man, and that is Kevin Trudo. Good morning. I remember you gotta speak.
I gotta speak louder, which
You
is
do.
difficult for me. But
Okay. So how are you?
great. Yeah, I slept in a little bit this morning. I got up at like 6,
Okay.
and I feel pretty rested.
All right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Aurora, East Side or West Side?
Far west side.
Okay.
I was so my earliest memories were right in Edgelawn. So kind of central west side, and then we moved out almost to Sugar Grove a little bit later on.
Way out there.
Way out there, yeah. But I went to school on the east side.
Okay.
So
How's a kid on the West Side go to school on the East Side?
Aurora Central Catholic.
Shouts out. Word up.
So that used to be on Root Street.
Okay.
And I'm telling you how old I am. So I drove all the way from, the pastoral thing all the way into, at the time, I graduated in 92, so it was in the middle of whatever drug wars were going on here at the time. So it was pretty culture shockish
Okay.
at the time, I went from big yards to a little bit more confined, and it wasn't abnormal to have to lay down in the middle of a class because there was shots in the neighborhood.
Right.
That was the time.
And it's two different worlds separated just by a river in the same town.
Very much.
Crazy.
But so while I was born in Minnesota, my dad was an air traffic controller. So that you wind up either Northwest Center or Midwest Center. Midwest Center's here in Aurora. So I was here before I remember any place else.
Oh, okay.
So I've always been in Aurora as far as I know.
Ah, okay. Interesting. So you've seen a lot of changes, and we'll circle back around on this during our talk here. But what are some of the biggest changes you've seen from those days here in our city?
Boy, that's a big one. But I will tell you a story. I was at a party not too long ago, and I noticed there's people at the party that had moved in from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes out of state, sometimes there are people moving out from Chicago, and they've moved into some of the more closer to downtown neighborhoods with some of the historic, east and west side. There's
Right.
kind of the nice big old Victorians and things like that.
Like
And they're moving
Downer.
in. Downer's one of them.
Yep.
But yeah, and so I see a lot of people moving in, and the conversational tenor was along the lines of, well, now we could make this place cool. And
Now we could make this place
that
cool.
I think they didn't know that I was paying attention to this conversation. So some of us that are a little bit longer term here kind of went outside and giggled a little bit, and we're like, no, you're forgetting why you came here. We already
Right.
did that work for you. Now just settle in and relax.
Right. It's been cool.
It's a very different. I've been again. I had that strange west to east side thing growing up. I also started working downtown Aurora 20-some years ago, 22 years ago, before there was really any efforts really put into. There was some investors that were in down there, but there was never the citywide incentive to get the downtown to be sort of a beautiful place.
Why is that? I've heard differing reasons but why is that? As a guy who's been here,
I don't know. I don't know exactly why.
I heard it was because most of the priority was given to the mall, and then what became outlet mall.
I've heard that too. The outlet mall was definitely 20 years ago kind of on the radar in a big way.
Okay.
I think malls died and things moved out, towards Naperville and the mall, but that was I think the 70s if from what I understand.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the outlet mall took a lot of resources. I don't know why. I don't believe anybody really believed in Aurora except Aurorans for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think. It was strange to me to be working downtown. I was bartending at a place right down off New York Street, and I had the best clients. I had a really great time, and people would always say, "How do you work downtown?" 2 a.m. And downtown's been the safest area in Aurora, as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
There's really nothing awful that happens downtown Aurora very often.
Right.
I mean, if there's crime, it's in a neighborhood. If there's things to be afraid of, it's in a neighborhood. It's not downtown.
Right.
But there's a stigma attached to it that downtown was scary. And I think that there was no reason to throw money after things where that stigma was still attached.
Right. Yeah.
It's taken a long time to really turn that around. I'm not even sure it's turned around fully yet.
And I don't think we've completely turned that page of that thought in people's minds. I was telling this story. I was recently on the train. Took the train to Chicago. I got a friend who's a conductor and everything, and I rode it for 6 years going back and forth when I used to work down there. And we're talking, and I was telling Aurora's come a long way in the time that I was a train rider going to Chicago and now. But still, you meet people and like, where you getting off at, Aurora? Oh, kind of shit. And it's like, no, dude, it's not. I mean, it's time to go. It's time to go get it's time to go get food and all that kind of stuff.
I wonder if the attitude towards downtown Aurora has to do with less safety and more unseemliness. Because what we have that other suburbs don't is we have people, we have homeless people.
We do.
We do. I'm not going to imagine we don't. I have friends that are homeless down here. I have people, I work right down by the train station. I've gotten into relationships and known people that have no home.
Mm-hmm.
They exist. To pretend they don't isn't fair. You know, it's people. You know, so I think that maybe it's just that small unseemliness because I don't feel unsafe around any of that. Because crime itself doesn't seem to really exist in the area I'm at. I mean, there's some things you might get your bike stolen. You might,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's many, many, many more places to live that are much less safe than Aurora, Illinois.
So in regards to safety, good morning to everybody who is just now tuning in. In regards to safety, though, I do think that we got I do think we have a pretty safe city, and I think the more stuff that comes to downtown to make it better, like the safer it gets.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many people out doing things. I mean, when you see the weather nice, it's bustling.
But how long have you been in Aurora?
For about 13 years.
So 13 years. You ever read about a mugging?
Have I ever read about a mugging? No, I haven't.
I don't think I have either. I have no statistic on it. I've never heard of it.
Right.
Like a violent crime that way.
Yeah, no.
And definitely not downtown.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I sometimes think that people get uncomfortable with other people.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense. And it might be because they don't have a place to live. It might be because of color differences. It might be because of socioeconomic differences. I'm not really sure.
Right.
But I feel like Aurora has got a fair amount of money the further you push from downtown.
Right.
And there's always been this sort of fear of the downtown.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's, I think, but kind of every city has that.
Yeah,
every city kind of.
I know this one, though.
Yeah, I mean, very good point. Good point. All right, so real quick, some other news for you guys. I want to read this to you. Indian Prairie District 204 approves school boundary map changes, grandfathering provision as well. District 204 will have revamped school boundary next year, shuffling about 2,400 students in its elementary, middle, and high schools. Months after the school boundary redrawing process began, IPSD members unanimously approved the district's recommendation, one that included some minor last-minute changes from the maps in December. The school board also voted 6-1 on a provision that allows students who will be going into 5th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades to be grandfathered into their current school for the time they have remaining at that school. The approved boundary maps come after months of meetings and public input on how to address overcrowded and undercrowded schools and projected enrollment decline. At one point, 1 to 3 schools were considered for repurposing. Now, listen to this part. Okay. Hold on. Keep holding on while I make you listen to this part. All right. Listen to this. Chief School Business Official Matt Shipley said about 2,400 students district-wide will be impacted by the boundary changes. The number, though, is about 400 students less than the recommendation they gave last month. Last-minute changes to these reductions include such: all of Georgetown Elementary School feeding into Fisher Middle School, all of Kendall Elementary feeding into Crone Middle School, reducing Young Elementary School enrollment by about 80 students, keeping enrollment level at Brooks Elementary and Granger Middle School, and addressing split feeder disparities at multiple schools. The recommendation includes the district's long-term goal to have all 3 high schools ultimately be at or near 2,700 student enrollments, housing all Neuqua Valley students under one roof, and converting Neuqua's freshman center into another district facility in the future. The time is now 8:14 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Josie Mendoza Geller, good morning to you. We have Kevin Trudo, friend of the show, with us. And at this moment, Monica, if you would be so kind, take us to the news.
Cool beans. Good morning and happy Monday, everyone. Here are your local headlines. Real news, real people, real stories, 100% Aurora.
Holla.
Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our content. There you can also watch all of our interviews and receive notifications when we go live. Our friends of Embarrassing.
Sip it up, all y'all.
Our friends of
alright.
YWCA Metropolitan Chicago are now enrolling for early learning programs for adults and children. Year-round full and half-day programs with meals are available for children from birth to 5 years old. For parents, childcare assistance, computer training, and career service are available as well. These are programs designed to help. The flyers are in English and Spanish that will be shared in our social media platforms. For more information, you can contact any of the centers located on the flyers and let them know you heard about it on Good Morning Aurora. The Advocate Sherman Hospital is hosting a blood drive Tuesday the 18th from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This will take place at Lake Level Rooms located at 1425 North Randall Road in Elgin. Give something that means something. This is sponsored by the American Red Cross. To make an appointment, call 1-800-733-2767. Also, from Rush Copley, Fridays, February 4th through March 18th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., join them for this free group workshop to support and help people managing cancer treatment and/or are in remission. This group is facilitated by 2 trained leaders, meets for 2.5 hours once a week for 7 weeks, and focuses on increasing your ability to manage your health and maintain an active and full life. For more information or to register, contact Waterford Place at 331-301-5280.
All right, thank you very much, Monica. Josie Mendoza Geller, Norma Peterson, Sally Bice, Maria Chirito. Josue Paez, good morning to you. So listen to this. Josie said something good. The stigma still exists. Talking about our town and city. On Aurora Facebook groups, every time someone asks for food recommendations, they always point outside of our city.
Right.
Very, very unfortunate. Hey, Sally, how you doing? And yeah, what the hell? We don't need like come on, man. Like you know what? The more people point outside, the longer it's gonna take us to be and rise up and be that great city on a hill.
Agreed.
Yep. Okay. So as you guys know, if you're just tuning in, we made the announcement that Aurora Mayor Richard Irvin is running for today. He will be set to join the Republican race for governor. What do you guys think about that? You guys can let us know in the chat. How do you feel? You want to see Mayor Irvin leave? Will he leave? Will he not leave? We don't know when he's going to make the announcement, so let us know what you think. The time is 8:18 a.m. So let's talk Two Brothers.
Sure, love to.
All right. It's back open.
It is.
It was closed for a while.
Long time.
But is it back to where it used to be with the ability to do things in the gazebo area outside and all that? Or
Yeah. We got the restaurant. So I started back up the company late in June.
Okay.
I had worked there before. But I got kind of lured back with the promise of getting the cafe going again, the coffee shop going, because coffee is sort of the thing I love.
Right.
But I started out in the restaurant there in early July, late June, and we did events out in the courtyard all summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still the same. So every place I know of is about 30% down across the board.
Right.
It's post-pandemic. It's a strange, large guess. Don't really know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't have a clue, and we've been doing this for months, and we're doing the best you can to mitigate and to be planned and to have staffing there and to make sure that the staffing that's there can adequately take care of who walks in, but isn't so many that nobody makes any money and you lose your staffing.
Right.
I mean, these are the concerns that you're dealing with internally. But we are down. I mean, everything I think is.
Yeah.
However, the question you asked wasn't, how we're doing or how we're looking forward. It's if we can do everything we did before, and I think we can. We've had the courtyard open all summer. We still have 2 nights of music every week. We still have comedy every week. We still have movies at least twice a month, and the cafe's open now. at 7 in the morning. We used to open at 6, but 7 in the morning makes a little bit more sense right now. People aren't doing the same early commute they used to. A lot of people are working at home.
Right.
So we've abridged the hours a little bit, 7 to 2 in the cafe where I'm at. And
Is the restaurant open?
oh yeah,
Okay.
been open since June.
Okay.
They opened up early June actually, and I came in about 3 weeks after that.
Okay.
So everything is firing. We have all the cylinders firing.
Okay.
You know.
All right. There was a chili cook-off thing that happened there.
I was there.
And I think that might have been, well, at least that was the first event that I saw that was kind of big.
Yeah.
Bringing folks in. That was well attended.
We've had some pretty good sized events. Yeah, I was at that one too. That was a Sunday afternoon, which was great. But that was for the Aurora, the Fire Museum.
Right.
Which was great. I love them. They're right next door, they're neighbors, so it was kind of great to have it there. We didn't win, but, you know, ignoring that lack of judgment, I think it still was a good event. But we've had some big stuff. We still did the A-Plus Foundation thing we did every year, which is the West Side School District
Right.
does their fundraiser. And we did that. That came out fabulous. We've had a couple of really good fundraisers. Every Christmas we do a really big, it's Hosmas. And it's a band that's been playing for years, and they really only do a couple shows a year. They haven't played in 2 years.
Okay.
And they just raise money for Toys for Tots, and we had 300 or 400 people out for that, like
Good.
usual. So we can do it all.
Yeah. Good
It's
stuff.
about comfort levels too, though.
Right.
COVID's
Now,
still here.
Does Two Brothers do anything for First Fridays?
Absolutely, we have Art Bar every first Friday. We took January off, so we haven't had Art Bar this past month. But since, I want to say August, we've had them every month.
Okay.
So Javi comes in, and man, does he work hard. And we always do, it's been in the cafe, sometimes it's been in the tavern. We're still looking at where the best place to do it is, but it's sort of the after bar for the entire First Friday. Everybody kind of winds up at the Roundhouse at some point after you walk downtown, especially in the winter when it's cold.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
a good spot to get a beer.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. I used to live downtown, and I come over there,
Yeah.
splash out for a little bit, get a little cocktail right there. You go in, go to the right, hit up there.
Yeah, I'm not a night person, but when I go out, it's sad I go where I work.
Right, yeah.
Like, I feel like I need another place. Isn't it like the third place thing? Where
No, yeah, you do,
You have
yes.
like home and work, and then you have like a third place that you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I just go to work because
I got Tavern and McCarty Mills. Those are my
Yeah.
home Tavern and McCarty Mills. That's pretty much it.
I haven't been to McCarty Mills.
Great place, yeah.
I got to stand next to the owners during the chili cook-off, actually, though.
Right, yeah.
And they were phenomenally cool people.
You love it.
I had
You
so
love
much
it.
fun. Just talking to them was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, yeah, good experience.
All right, Two Brothers was a great sponsor of Tomahawk Turkey Trot. Thank you very much, Josie Mendola. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
I forgot about that one. That was a huge event.
That is right. Yeah,
That was
Josie,
huge.
Shouts out to you. Sally says, do you know the history of Martin Luther King's name? Did you know he was originally a Michael? Thank you, Sally, for letting us know that. We'll have to follow back up and check that out, read that story. Emily says, hi, Kevin. Hey,
Hi,
Emily.
Emily.
How you doing? All right, great. Now I want some chili. You making people hungry. The time is now 8:23 a.m. All right, now listen to this, you guys, and you can keep me on, Monica. And this is something that we wanted to talk about. All right, so Aurora is going to get $1.2 million in grant money from the federal government to aid our businesses. Not from the federal government, from the state. Listen to this. To address improvements and repairs in the city affected by the civil unrest of 2020, Aurora is getting $1.2 million from the state. This was announced recently by the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the ILDCEO, as well as by State Senator Linda Holmes, who we interviewed. She's the Assistant Illinois Senate Majority Leader. Damn. What a resume. The money, is that your stomach?
Probably.
Damn, growling.
I haven't eaten yet.
Hold on, man. You got the mic hot. This brother's stomach. Somebody you got some candy right behind
So
you,
I
baby.
speak quietly, and then my stomach gets louder than the way I talk. That's kind of not a good.
You want a Hershey Kiss or something? You good?
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
No doubt. The money is coming from the Rebuild Distressed Communities program, which is part of the $45 billion Rebuild Illinois Capital program passed in 2019. The ILDCEO announced $8.4 million in additional grants statewide for small businesses and commercial corridors located around the state to help rebuild and revitalize in the wake of the 2020 unrest following the death of George Floyd. The final round of Rebuild Distressed Communities provides $976,000 to 26 small businesses and $7.4 million to help revitalize 7 commercial corridors located across the state. Where were you when the unrest in downtown Aurora happened?
I was at home.
You were at home.
I was watching on Facebook Live.
Okay. How'd you feel?
Gutted. Gutted.
Why?
There's a lot that goes on. Again, I'm a guy who has worked downtown for over 20 years, and to see the initial reaction is to see the worry about people tearing out windows and spray painting, and that makes you sad
Yeah.
because it's a geographical area that I really care about.
Okay.
Because it's my home.
Right.
On the other side, it was inevitable.
It was inevitable.
It was inevitable. I don't think you can treat people poorly for a long time and not expect that.
I agree.
I
agree. No, and not to cut you. I don't know if it was inevitable, but I do agree that you cannot treat people bad, not expect things. I do believe though that it was a turning point for Aurora because I've done my history. Tracy Duran, good morning to you. Good morning, Gams fam. Hey, Kevin, long time.
Hey, Tracy.
No see. Johnny Felix, good morning. Here's the thing about it. It was a turning point for Aurora because I don't think Aurorans ever saw themselves cannibalize themselves like that.
Yeah.
That's what I don't think. I don't think Aurora ever saw that. Detroit saw them do themselves. Detroit saw that
every year.
in this going back to the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, there's Devil's Night every year in Detroit.
Right.
That's been going on forever.
Many cities have seen themselves cannibalize and eat and tear themselves up. And they deal with it. I don't think Aurora ever saw itself cannibalize itself. And that made people like, holy crap.
Yeah. But the part where I disagree with you is I don't believe in turning points. Like, I think the 60s was garbage. We go back and we talk about the 60s as this revolutionary time, and I look now and I see that most people that advocated for big changes in the 60s didn't change things.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't end racism, it didn't end war, it didn't end a lot of things.
Right.
But we kind of go and say that I think we believe really strongly in the rite of passage. We believe in the emblematic, like, token thing that happened. It's why we believe in marriage, but we have a divorce rate that's like 50%.
Facts.
Because
Facts.
marriage is not a marriage. The day you get married is not. Like tearing down, and we really got off easy. Like, Aurora didn't get destroyed, and everybody got back up the next morning and helped out and put this all back together.
There was more action the next day than there was the night before.
It was beautiful, but
Right.
but there's no. I don't see reckoning, because in the end, if we have a problem with systemic racism, if we have a problem with the way that the police are treating demographics differently, we can't do it in a night. We can't do it over a 6-month period of protests. It has to be a decision we keep making today.
Right.
In the same way that our marriage can't just be a thing we spend a bunch of money on. It has to be a thing we have to make a decision to do every day.
Right. Right.
So I don't believe in the rite of passage. I don't believe in that turning point.
Okay.
I love to think that a lot of people maybe saw things they haven't seen before, but Aurora is also really a town of inequalities in a lot of ways.
How so?
Okay, I live in a really nice neighborhood, and there's so much I don't have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And I also work right next to the train station, right downtown, and I see a lot of people walk by. It's a really glaring difference, and I think that there's a lot of people, especially pandemic, we haven't had to leave the house. A lot of people have stayed home, and the better you do economically, the less likely you are to have to leave and go back out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can work from home most often, and I think that it allows you to not look at problems.
Oh, yes.
And I think it allows you to not go and see people who are homeless.
Right.
And those are luxuries, and it's hard to deal with those.
Shally Wakeman, good morning to you. Good morning, Aurora. Good to see you. Johnny Felix, what's up? Sally says, great observation. Thank you very much. The other part about it is this. Like, when I think about what it takes to motivate people, okay, it doesn't make me happy that people would be motivated to cause, I don't want to say destruction and chaos. I don't want to make it seem like, but it bothers me that people were motivated to come out for angst.
Yeah.
Or they'll pack the lines for the across from the police station, the Verilife.
Yeah.
The dispensary.
But that numbs you.
But when it comes to voting,
oh man,
or those things that will adequately address and make that change, sustained, there's a lack. That's that people aren't doing that. That's one of the things that upset me so much about the whole rioting situation, was because I saw people do more in 25 minutes than I've ever seen them do, and not all of it was positive.
No.
And that was really distressing. That was really distressing. Because they're not looking at it as a marriage thing, to kind of use your opinion. They're not invested really. It's the veneer.
Aren't they?
No.
I'm not sure they
No.
are. I think we've done a lot of explaining for other people. I saw people I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the Facebook Live feed.
Yeah,
and I saw people I knew.
The Snapchat
And
map.
I
I was
saw-
on. Yeah, like
I
what's she
saw-
doing? What is she?
I don't want to, I'm not going to call anybody out. And it's super easy for me to sit at home on a tablet and say that this is what they thought or felt. But I don't know. I don't know what it takes, because I wasn't downtown.
Right.
I wasn't angry enough to kick in a store window.
Right.
So how am I to sit back and judge somebody else's rage?
Sure.
How can I do that? It hurts. I don't like to see it. I love this city.
Right.
I could leave at this point, and I don't. But I can't judge somebody else's rage, and I think we did a lot. I remember the day after, everybody talking about, some of these people were all brought from outside and they were bussed in.
Nah.
That was wishful thinking.
You know what? I read in the Beacon News. I didn't mean to excuse me.
No, please.
Because that has infuriated. I read when that Elgin police SUV was torched.
Yeah.
I read the Beacon News the weekend after all of that, and they had the arrests.
Yeah.
They arrested 19 people. 17 of them were from Aurora or Montgomery or Oswego.
Yep.
One guy was from Elk Grove Village. The other one, I think, was from like Schiller Park. Everybody was an Auroran.
But we wanted to pretend that this wasn't us. But it's the same thing I keep seeing. It's a disconnect. That's why I don't believe in the turning point or the moment, is because when we have an interpretation problem in this country, in this town, where we look at things and we revise it to fit our view of the world.
That's right.
And I don't think that works. And so we look at something that's, to me, well, I said it was heartbreaking, it was gutting. It was a clear message that there was anger.
Right.
And we chose to not hear that it was angry.
The time is now 8:34. Monica, would you please take me to a commercial? I have some news that I want to deliver to these fine people. Kevin, this is a good conversation, baby.
A little more than I thought it was going to be, but hey.
All right, that's how we roll.
All right.
Extra. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So coming off the heels of a successful event on Saturday called Operation 60505, bringing health, immigration, and housing resources to our community, the City of Aurora, Neighbor Project, and VNA Healthcare are following up once again with great information and vaccine and booster and flu shots available for free. January 27th, no appointment necessary. Our great leaders, Wani Garza, State Representative Stephanie Kifferwood, Alderwoman Shakita Hart Burns, Mayor Irvin, Alderman Ed Bugg, Pastor George Rayford, Pastor Julian Spencer, and Kane County Commissioner Ron Ford Sr. New Community Baptist Church will be there from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then we will be at Main Baptist Church noon to 2 p.m. If you can't attend, visit vnahealth.com for additional hours and locations. COVID vaccines will be available for children ages 5 and up. Children must be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. I don't want to see any 5-year-olds without their parents coming up and asking for vaccines. That'd be crazy. Like, kid, how'd you get here? I drove, bruh. Like, damn, swole. Yes, and age 4 to 17 must be accompanied by legal guardians as well. Flu shots, all that good stuff. For more information, you can call 630-585-1308. The number again is 630-585-1308. Now, moving right along. Get ready for something else that's very cool. I saw this and I want to pass it along to you. Job search strategies. Tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. This is being held by the Aurora Public Library. It's a virtual workshop. Optimize your job search. You need to register at Aurora. I don't have the link for the website, but I'll get that to you. I'll make a post about this for you guys later on. But it's going to be on the AP website. That's how you register, and then it will be on Zoom. Time is 8:37. Last thing that we have for you guys is Aurora's not planning a COVID-19 vaccine mandate as a city, but some businesses are already setting their own guidance. While officials say they don't plan to require the customers show they've been vaccinated against COVID-19 to enter restaurants and entertainment venues, a few places are already doing that. Kane County residents being tested for COVID-19 have found that the virus, and hospitals have a surge of ICU beds. 1 in 5 residents is being tested and found to have the virus. Yikes. Listen to this. Here it is. While most Aurora restaurants have no online postings about checking vaccine requirements, some businesses like Stope Island Social, French 75, and the Venue and Paramount are all checking for proof of vaccination or negative COVID-19 tests. After Stope Island Social closed for more than 21 months during the pandemic, owner Amy Morton said she's all for minimizing any further closures and sees requiring proof of vaccination or a COVID test that's negative as just one additional layer to help the businesses stay open. Quote, we need to protect the business, which many count on for their livelihood, and we want to be part of this community. The only way we can be is by staying open and staying safe. We don't have money in the bank to close and reopen again. Close quote. At Luigi's Pizza and Fun Center, owner Bill Poss struggled to keep the indoor gaming center open during the start of the pandemic and said he was close to closing down in December 2020 until he received some grant money. Shout out to Bill Poss. He's a good guy. I had the pleasure of interviewing him, and he just celebrated 42 years in business, I think. Shouts out to him. All right, the time is 8:39 a.m. So the city of Chicago, as this article just mentioned, took that step of requiring those vaccine requirements, or a negative COVID-19 test. You think the city should do something like that here?
I don't know. That's the long and short of it is I don't know.
Okay. Given what Two Brothers went through and whatnot and what have you.
We were closed a long time.
Yeah.
We have mask mandates in place that we're pretty strict about. we haven't we haven't looked at, as far as I know, requiring vaccination status to get in. There's a couple layers that we have to deal with. We have a banquet facility too.
Right.
Now, there's been a lot of banquets that on their own have required that somebody's getting married, and that couple getting married is required that everybody that walked in was vaccinated.
Right.
Those are nice. Those are good. I don't know. The friends I have in Chicago know where they can go if they want safety, and they know who's ignoring that vaccine mandate.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that it's effective or if it's more us versus them.
Right.
I don't know. I wish I could say that I absolutely believe put the legislation. I tend to go for, like, I don't have that much faith in human nature. So I typically agree that, there probably should be a law in place.
And Scott, good morning to you. Casildo, good morning to you. GMA, happy MLK Day. Dan Barrero, good to see you, you wonderful person. All right. Now, also, we mentioned to you guys that today, Aurora Mayor Richard Irvin should be announcing his candidacy. He's set to join the Republican race for governor. What do you guys think about that? Let us know in the chat. Time is now 8:41 a.m. Question for you. Curious to know how this late stage of the pandemic dragging on is affecting creative life. Hello, Ann.
For me?
Yeah.
I'm not that creative anymore. I am going to go ahead and say pandemic agreed with me. Quarantine agreed with me in a big way. I got a 10-year-old son. I got a 16-year-old stepdaughter. I liked being home with them.
Right.
A lot.
As
much as I enjoy human beings,
yeah.
18 months away from them didn't hurt like I thought it would.
Yeah,
I expected it to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was really not uncomfortable at all.
I wasn't either. I was like
I sort of loved it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It. I lived downtown at the time.
Okay.
And to see no humans, no cars, nothing but birds and squirrels.
Yep.
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't that bad. Like, really. I was like, my whole world was crumbling. It was danger, and
Yep.
it was every day was the Battle of Berlin, emotionally and mentally. Yeah. But I was able to power through that by just being one. I felt like I was one. I was still outside. I was still going to get coffee.
Yeah.
I was still doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was still going outside and taking a walk here and there. I was still shaking and baking.
I walked every day.
But yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoy being around people, and I really do, if for some reason I can't see everybody, I'm okay too.
Gary Strong, good morning to you. Dan Barrero says it was heartwarming to see people come out and help clean up the damage. Yeah. The murals were beautifully done by many local artists and volunteers. Josie said 19 were arrested, majority of Aurorans, but there were far more than 19 involved. Good point, Josie. Tracy Duran says, and that anger is understandable. When people are constantly being put down, judged, and passed over, they're going to finally react, just like an abusive relationship. A person can't take that crap anymore and react in defensiveness. Thank you very much. Okay. Interesting. I see y'all commenting on the riot, but nobody's telling us about I thought this was the big news. So Mayor Irvin's running for governor. Why? Ain't nobody got nothing to say about that.
Maybe they're related. Maybe these are all tied together. Maybe we've gotten to the point of politics in this country where the only voice we feel we have is destruction. Maybe the idea of voting just seems like it doesn't really work for us anymore. I don't say that with judgment. I don't say that with any value in that at all. I'm a guy who votes, but I'm also a white guy in a good neighborhood.
Right.
I'm at the least risk.
Right.
I
believe that Aurora. So when we were talking off camera, before we started today, and you were asking the broad outlines of the genesis of the show and what we're trying to do when we talk on this microphone. What's the point and purpose? I believe that Aurorans have it really good here. You know, I spent so before Aurora, some of my early years in Harvey, Illinois. That's a city that used to be.
Okay.
You know, Aurora, we got it really good here. It's a city that is not. Haven't grown up here.
Yeah.
But just examining the records, I don't believe that Aurora has had the cascading amount of egregious social problems like a Chicago, like a Detroit and things like that. I don't think so. And I think as a result of that, we should be, we should be happy. We should be happy. And this show tries to make people happy. You know, we try to make the day at least a little bit brighter for folks, have that dialogue, share those ideas. They don't have to be, no one has to conform to any train of thought. But just to share it and get the nitty gritty stuff out there, because I think that makes us better. I think that makes us better to realize that we got it pretty good here.
I mistrust that message.
Why?
This is not me saying I mistrust you. What I say is that when somebody says you got it pretty good, you should be grateful. Hang on.
That's horrible.
Just 1 second.
You're right.
There's a language there that terrifies me.
Thank you. That's like going to the doctor, Novocaine, right? I'm trying to rock you to sleep. You're right. Well said.
I'm not trying to undermine where you're getting at. I'm just going to say that I initially mistrust somebody saying you should be grateful. We got it good. I'm telling you right now, if an employer tells you should be grateful right now, leave.
Yeah,
leave that job.
Seriously.
If you're a partner that tells you should be grateful, you should probably leave. Okay, those are all red flags.
You're right. You are right. I think you know what it is. I'm against pessimism. The word of the day is pessimism. Monica, if you'd be so kind.
But
the word of the day is pessimism.
Curtis, I believe, though, that hope can't be really defined as hope if it doesn't actually encompass trying to see the world the way it actually is.
Wilmer Rodriguez, what up? No, go ahead. My bad. I just jump in with the shout outs and all that. Wilmer, what's up, baby? How you doing?
But if you can't look at the way the world is, you're not being optimistic.
Sure.
You're being unrealistic.
Sure. You're right.
And I think that hope, and I like to think that I'm full of hope, is the idea that, people are going to behave badly oftentimes. And that things are going to not necessarily move towards organization, but we're going to love them anyway. That the idea that, again, I got to go back to marriage. The idea that we got married now, we're good. It falls apart instantly.
Right.
It's a commitment you make every day.
Are you married?
I am. Yeah.
How long have you been married?
13 years.
Hit the claps for Kevin Trudo.
And it's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's harder than being a parent in a lot of ways. It's harder. I didn't get married till I was a lot older in life. But when I look at that, I think that is this thing that you do where, you have to make those decisions every day. And you have to accurately assess the marriage. If you're kind of a selfish person, or if your partner has a tendency to be terrible in the morning, or however that might be, you can't just go, well, they'll be okay. Because that hurts long term. I believe hope has to have an accurate assessment of the situation, and then you're looking for a path through.
Mad, damn. Okay. Kevin with good advice, babe. That's some good advice, man. I appreciate that.
I don't know about that. I'm at the cafe every day. Anyway,
when's the book coming out?
There will be no book. I will never write these down. You have to come see me.
All right, Gary Strong, I think we said good morning to you. All right, so let me see here. I just want to see what we talked about with these people. Thank you very much for that, Monica. Emily says, I feel you. Thank you, Emily. Carolyn Hopkins, good morning to you, dear friend. Take the world where it's at, otherwise your help isn't actually helping. Yes, you're right. Okay, now listen to this. I'm not sure how important our mayor's political ambitions are to me. Sorry, nobody really knows. He's been passionate about making Aurora better for all. Entering the governor's race, he's following money and will answer to it. Thank you very much for that. Casildo, good morning to you. We read Dan's. Okay. Erica, good morning as well. All right. But you have to see a bigger, better possibility with clarity to actually make it a reality. Now I have news from
Tracy has a great comment.
Tracy. Well, read Tracy's comment.
It says, I have always loved these kinds of conversations with Kevin. You would need more than an hour with him. He has always had great insight to seeing both sides.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Tracy.
You know Tracy Duran?
I do.
How you know Tracy?
Oh man, Wabansi about 20 years ago, I think. And I don't want to make us sound older than we are. It might not have been that way. Maybe it was only 10 years ago, but I know it was closer to 20.
Okay.
So yeah, I've known Tracy a long time. We had classes together years ago. So,
Shout out to Tracy Duran. Tracy Duran is a superstar. She's one of the best people we've met.
Absolutely, author now, all sorts of amazing things.
Yep.
I can't believe how much she's accomplished in the last 10 years.
Tracy Duran, keep up the good work.
Please.
All right, yeah, that's right. We get flowers on this show. You get a shout out. You get a shout out. All right, real quick, guys. Let me tell you about this. Tomorrow, Give Blood, Advocate Sherman. Oh, you already told people that. I'm sorry about that, Monica. I don't want to redo Monica's efforts. But I did have relevant news for you. Here it is. Storytime and Craft. Saturdays, 10 to 11:30 a.m. This free event will be taking place at Simply Destiny, 122 West Downer Place. Bring your little ones to Storytime and Craft starting January 15th, so it already started. Check the social media each week for details on guest authors and activities for each Saturday, and which the first Saturday that just ended was our friend Victoria Hyla Maldonado. So we're not late. We've been told you about that. The time is now 8:51 a.m. Okay, so what does Aurora need that it does not have?
Don't have a clue. That's huge.
Sure
I
you
don't
do.
know.
Sure you do.
I mean, there's like
You're a barista. You
the
people
flat
like
answers.
bartenders. You know everything. That's why the CIA tells people get to know bartenders and taxi drivers. They know everybody. They know
it's
everything.
On the surface, I think we've been bringing in a lot of restaurants. We've been bringing in some pretty good things that I think surround the Paramount, which is great. Now we're going to just get into my opinion, I guess, which is there's so many pat answers. We need a retail corridor. We need this. We need a lot of things downtown. I think we need. How do you approach that? We need. Let me tell you instead what I dislike about the question is that.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Scratch that up.
All right, I won't say.
So
No.
I want you to stand on that. I want you to stand on that. I want
wherever you let me
I want you to stand on that.
not
I like that. Like I asked a question. You're like, let me tell you what I don't like about that question. I like that. All right. What you don't?
What I don't like about the question is that I think it's the point of view of the question is impossible. And by that I mean to say that what do I think Aurora needs? Aurora's a community. It's huge.
That it does not have.
Maybe not, but there are communities that we've ignored. So, for example, I mean, like I've listened to people talk about what downtown needs for 20 years. And usually it's just really prescriptive thing. I've had people telling me there's no retail, there's no restaurants, and there was. There was restaurants and there was retail downtown. They just weren't the kind that they wanted.
Sure.
And all those things existed. Like I said, I've been working down here before the idea of downtown coming back was a thing at all. And we all existed down here. We all lived down here. People were here. And there's this, to go back to the initial story about people coming in from outside saying, well, we'll make it cool now. We've already been here. So what I don't like about the question is that we keep prescribing. And it's going to take a lot of voices. What encourages me is not so much to say that we've got more fine dining in town. It's that we have more voices in town. It's that we have, that all the people that own businesses down here don't look the same. That all of the people that own business down here aren't trying to do the same things, that don't believe the same things. They're not from the same backgrounds and they're not from the same, point of view. We're a city. And I think that gets lost a lot. most of the conversations I've heard over the last 20 years want to make downtown Aurora closer to a Naperville or a Geneva. And I don't think we can be.
Nor should we try. And my words, perhaps, but yeah, sure.
Mine too. If you're going to get, we're a city. And I think we need to think like a city. And we need to feel like a city. And I don't mean that saying you should feel this way, you should think that way. I mean that I think that in order for this to work, this experiment is going to have to involve us all opening up to all the different voices and allowing what cities do, which is a lot of different sweaty, piled on top of each other people, really be themselves.
Growing up, what impact did your mom have in your life?
Oh my God, everything. So my parents divorced when I was pretty young, and my mom took on the single mom role when I was like around 8, 9. Went back to school, got 2 degrees, got 2 masters, became fabulously successful, and just lots of stories I couldn't even tell on here. But as far as just what strength looks like, and it's changed a lot about how I think of strength. Strength's a very quiet thing. A lot of times it's just standing still, you know? It's being able to take wind, you know, hard wind. Mm-hmm. We think, I think, a lot about displays of strength, and sometimes it's just being able to stand on the course you believe in.
Right.
And that's what my mom taught me.
So folks who are interested can find you every day at Two Brothers.
Feels
right?
like every day, yeah, most days. We're closed. We're closed today. Monday's a great.
You guys are closed Monday.
Mondays we are. We closed the whole restaurant. The logistics of getting the coffee shop open wouldn't really work that well. It's a mixed bag because I kind of don't like to not be there, but on the other side, I also like having a day that everybody can expect to be home and restful.
Right.
Rest is important, but 7 to 2. Tuesday through Sunday, and I'm there a lot. Sometimes I'm there in the evening, sometimes I'm there in the mornings, but I really do love that building and those people, and I'm there a lot.
All right. 7 to 2 every single day.
Except Monday.
Except Monday. If you are interested in some good coffee and some great conversation and a miscellaneous pastry, I see, the food selection got a little bit bigger over there.
Did you go over this weekend?
No, last time I was there was when I saw you, not this weekend,
That's
it was
right.
the week before.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Because we have a bakery that we've got a relationship with now, and we're trying that out right now. Trying to get some new stuff, cinnamon scones, cookies. So we're trying some new things that way. It's, again, everything after pandemic is a guess. So, and I hate to say after pandemic because I think during pandemic is a guess. So we're trying things. I'm trying to win you over. Tell me what you want. We can't do everything well, but the things we can do well, I promise to do.
Blueberry muffins.
Blueberry muffins.
Y'all need to have a good blueberry muffin.
We had a strawberry blackberry scone, but that's me offering you. You asked for $10 and I gave you $5, so I get that. Blueberry muffins, heard.
Yeah, blueberry muffin. If you guys can come up with a blueberry muffin,
all right.
Y'all need to. That needs to be the. Is
that the bar? Is that like where we start and end? Is like if we get the blueberry muffin right, you believe in us? Because I can get a blueberry muffin.
No, I've believed in you guys for a while. I was a regular, as I mentioned to you. I was a daily regular. I was in there because I would catch the 627 every day. So my routine was Two Brothers and the train.
Yeah.
Get my coffee, have my newspaper. See what's going on in the headlines and yak it up on the way to Chicago. All right. Time is 8:58 a.m. Yikes, where does the time go? Holy cow.
Quick.
We talked about Mayor Irvin running for governor. We talked about COVID-19 vaccine mandates or their efficacy and potential in the city. We talked about that. I said hi to Sally Bice. I said hi to Norma Peterson. We said hi to Tracy Duran. Did we forget anything? We shouted you out 13 years of marriage and all that.
Thank you.
We did that. Did we forget anything?
If we did, how would we know? We forgot it.
We got spooky music? Play the spookiest thing we got.
That's perfect. Sad trombone. That's good. It's terrifying.
Okay, now it's a mix-up of spook and breaking news, so I guess we'll never know. But the show ends on a positive note. What is your message today? Thank you, DJ. What's your message today for the people of Aurora?
I don't think you could ignore that today is the day we keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in our hearts and close by. I don't think you could add any better message than the legacy of a human being that believed in a thing and lived and died by that. There's nothing more inspirational than that life.
Yep. Martin Luther King provided an excellent ongoing legacy and platform to stand on. I want to read something real quick that I do that Dan Barrera shared with us. Institutional policies and the will of the people are two different things. For example, Marie Wilkinson helped the Mexican community with many needs and helped get the first Spanish-speaking priest in Aurora. She helped establish the Aurora Human Relations Commission, etc. Many others have fought for change. Thank you very much for that. People think you running for something.
No.
Kevin's running. You got my vote. Oh, snap. What you running for?
Coffee
the door
shop.
after this. He like
cafe manager? I'm not really. I have no aspirations politically. I very much inhaled. It's a Clinton joke if you're not as old as me.
No. That I got that.
And no, I have no aspirations.
You know what? You look back at that now, and that ruined his career. Well, that didn't ruin it.
That was such a big deal.
That was the world's biggest deal.
That was a huge big deal.
Right.
Like,
and it was total bullshit. I didn't inhale.
Total.
Come on, right? Like who?
To be honest, I mean, like that would ruin the vote for me. Like,
right.
if you managed to like get that all the way to the mouth and didn't inhale,
I'm not voting for you.
I don't think I want to vote for you.
I can't trust this guy.
You had me up to the point where you didn't actually enjoy the thing you were doing.
This guy's not invested.
Yeah, go all the way. Come on.
Now listen. Here's where we'll end.
Okay.
So people, we talked about what two brothers. People have ideas for the pastries.
Oh man,
croissants.
Nothing inspires love like pastries. We talk about pastries all day.
Yeah.
Man.
Emily says croissants. Josue says, oh snap, I got to go tomorrow for the cinnamon scones. And Scott, orange cranberry muffin. Can you make that happen?
Orange cranberry muffin.
Come on, baby. I'll come in there. Yeah.
I am a lousy baker. I will check with our bakery.
Okay.
And I will find out.
And Scott, you heard that. He going to check. Josie says, when are we Gams fam meeting at the cafe? Josie, that's coming up. That's in the works. That will happen this year.
I would love that.
We have an event planned where we are going to have a Gams Great American Morning Show, Good Morning Aurora meetup. We had to scale back our activities for our notices and mimosas due to the rising cases, but I guarantee you listeners, we will have a morning coffee date, perhaps the two brothers.
I would love it.
If you are a Good Morning Aurora listener or fan, whatever the heck, you can come on in and we will sit down, socially distance, and we will share.
We have the biggest thing we've got right now, like as far as that sales pitch, is we're huge.
Yeah, you guys are. I mean, big place.
You can spread out a little bit. Please feel comfortable.
Emily says tiny fancy waffles. Damn.
Ooh,
that's a good idea.
I kind of want that.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
Casildo, we may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. MLK, Happy MLK Day. And Timothy Zwicky, good morning. Maria Chirito, good morning. Pastries are life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you great people. Oh, and that reminds me, I got to say this to my dear friends, Victoria, everybody else. Good Morning Aurora is gaining steam now, so we do have trolls. I apologize to all of our female listeners and fans. Every now and then some weird male, like I think the last guy was Mark Wilson or something. These trolls and bots, they come in and reply to the girls, hey,
I don't want to know.
Hey,
there's also female bots.
There's female bots. These are trolls and bots. There was one that just said, I don't mean to inconvenience anyone, but we have natural remedies that can cure, your syphilis or whatever. I apologize for that, but that means that Good Morning Aurora is getting so famous, we got trolls and bots now. That's like all of our friends. That's not me. I'm blocking them every time I see them.
Is that the best compliment ever, though? Like, now there's bots after you.
Yeah, no,
that's like the best. Like, we've grown to the point now where we have problems that, that's amazing.
We have trolls and bots now. They get in the chat.
You're so winning.
Yeah, we are winning. Heck yeah. The show ends on a positive note. What's your message today?
I always make good decisions. I mean, like I think that it's so easy to like think about like here's a quote that's going to be and it's going to cover your day. No, it's not going to do that. Make good decisions all day long. You know, I mean, when people are in need, decide to help. When people are hurt, decide to listen. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's not about, you know, a quote that's going to cover the day, you know. Although I got one.
What is it?
If you meet an asshole in the morning, you met an asshole. But if you meet assholes all day, you're the asshole.
I like that. We don't have the bleep button, but this is a family show. But I like that.
Sorry about that.
That was crazy. Yeah, thank you very much.
So I've tried to keep my language
you.
on par, but
You did good.
the bottom line is that
You did good.
Like you can't make the whole world wrong, so
Right.
you can be right. That's the only thing I think about all the time. Like that's my one thing, you know.
Right.
That and the order of operations in the shower that you know you want to start with your face. That's about it. Everything else
Everybody knows that.
yeah. That's but
Some people don't though.
Other than that,
They start with the feet and come up like, dog,
No,
did you get to
no.
your joint? You wash your
No.
joint after the...
No, face.
No, he comes
first.
right. Whoa. Oh.
That's it. The order of operations in the shower, and then you know make sure that you know you got a good, clear view of the world.
I remember like in the Navy, because the bathroom's called the head, and this is a big shower. And I remember like, yeah, you see people and like, you shout, what you doing? You
Maybe
your
that's-
feet, then your mouth?
Maybe that's the best blessing in the world. Let's take that as the inspiration for the day. How grateful are you? You've never had to watch other people shower. I mean, you have, but I have not, and I am so happy right now knowing that I've never had to have that indignity of watching other people shower.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a great episode of Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate Kevin Trudo for coming on the show today. Thank you very much,
Thank
my
you very
brother.
much.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you,
having me.
man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it very much.
Two brothers, every day except for Monday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Great place. And we want orange cranberry scone or muffins. We want croissants if you get them. Tiny waffles, all that. We will stay up to you.
Tiny waffles is like...
We're going to see what we can do about that. That sounded fly, though.
Yeah.
That sounded really good.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. And GAMS fam, meet up for coffee. Get ready for that, too. I want to say thank you very much to two people right now before we end. I want to say thank you very much to a dear friend of the show, Jamie Mosser, who is the Kane County State's Attorney. Jamie Mosser gave us some really good advice not that long ago, and we've been following it. And we recently saw Jamie Mosser again. She came on the show way back in our Gremlin days, early days of Good Morning Aurora. And then she came on again with Sheriff Ron Hain. And Jamie Mosser told us something that was very inspirational to us, and it really means a lot to have friends of stature like the state's attorney, Jamie Mosser, who listens to the show and lets us know that we've done some great progress after a while. And we will do our very best to highlight all the good things that are happening with law enforcement in Kane County and the change is happening to treat people good. The second person I'd like to say thank you to is Monica for all of her continued hard work on the show. We appreciate her every single day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. Take care of yourself and each other.